And good evening on this Wednesday night. I'm Tom Yamas in for David. And as we come on the air, the death toll rising from that deadly attack in London. A single attacker using a car as his weapon, mowing down people on a bridge to the British Parliament. People running for their lives. You see it here, that iconic building put on lockdown. One of the victims ending up in the river below. The attacker crashing his car, then going after a police officer, stabbing him. Authorities finally stopping the attack with a bullet. The alleged terrorist did not survive. But 4 of his victims are also dead, including that police officer, and at least 40 people are injured. Tonight, the desperate search for clues and a motive. ABC's Alex Marquardt reporting from London takes us inside the attack.
Chaos in the heart of London today. Panicked crowds in the packed streets outside the Palace of Westminster. Tonight, the attack being treated as a terrorist incident that instantly paralyzed Britain's parliament. People fleeing as gunshots ring out. Police shouting at pedestrians to run. Authorities quickly arrived at the scene, locking down Parliament.
This house is now suspended, but please wait here.
The attack unfolding just before 3 p.m. on the busy Westminster Bridge, right before rush hour. You can see the car as it barrels across the bridge, highlighted there on the right. Then watch, a woman near the middle of the bridge falls, landing in the water, killing at least 2 and injuring around 20 others.
There was bodies, literally.
Must have been about 10 bodies.
10, 12 bodies, all in different
just lying
places.
in different places along the bridge.
Moments later, that car crashing into this gate outside Parliament, just below Big Ben. The car smoking, its hood smashed, the driver's side door open as crowds begin to form.
I see that one car smashed to the wall, and it's just people started running all over.
From above, on the famous London Eye, these tourists watching the carnage below.
And you were up in the eye when all this happened?
We were.
What'd you see?
But we did see 3 different groups of wounded people on the bridge. One of the things that struck us was how long the medics were spending with the victims on the ground.
Authorities say the suspect then exits the car to continue the deadly rampage. Inside Parliament's grounds, stabbing and killing a police officer who was standing guard. One witness watching from a window.
We saw a thick-set man in black clothes and had something in his hand. It looked like a stick. And we could see the man moving his arm in a way that suggested he was either stabbing or striking the policeman.
Police fire, taking the suspect down. These images in the immediate aftermath show one officer seeming to point his gun at the alleged suspect, what appears to be a knife under the officer's right foot. Police load the alleged suspect onto a stretcher and into an ambulance, the suspect later dying. Parliamentarians under armed guard. Prime Minister Theresa May rushed to safety. Outside, that bridge brought to a standstill. Bystanders rushing to a victim's aid. First responders performing triage as helicopters were dispatched to rescue the wounded. Tonight, a search is underway to make sure there were no other attackers, as stories of heroism begin to emerge. One member of Parliament, Tobias Ellwood, with his face bloodied, performing mouth-to-mouth, trying to save that police officer who was stabbed and later died.
And those images, such a grisly scene. Alex Marquardt joining us live outside of Parliament now. The British Prime Minister Theresa May just addressed her nation, saying they've just begun this investigation, but they believe the suspect acted alone.
They do believe this attacker acted alone. They have not identified the suspect, and there has been no claim of responsibility. Earlier tonight, Prime Minister May called this a sick and depraved terrorist attack, adding that Londoners will never give in to terror and that Parliament will be back in session right here tomorrow. Tom?
Alex Marquardt, it's going to be a long night for you. Thanks so much. Stay safe. And authorities in London have launched a full terror investigation, as we just heard, especially because the attacker used a vehicle to kill. A terror method we have seen before. And tonight, heightened security here in the United States as well. Heavily armed police standing guard outside the British consulate in New York. But investigators have already collected key information. ABC's senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas with that part of the story.
Tonight, British authorities are close to identifying that man on the stretcher, suspected of the deadly attack in London. Sources say they have a name, but they are desperately working to confirm the identity.
We currently believe there was only one attacker.
Investigators are now urgently scouring the car used in the attack and are searching for the suspect's smartphones and computers. In recent weeks, British counterintelligence officials have publicly warned about a possible attack using a car and a knife. Precisely the crude type of attack ISIS has been calling on followers worldwide to carry out, using any means necessary.
This type of attack does not require anybody to go to any training. All you have to be able to do is drive a vehicle and be able to hold a knife.
Last summer in Nice, France, a huge truck plowed through a crowd, killing 86. During Christmas season in Berlin, 12 dead and nearly 50 injured in another truck attack. The tactic used in the U.S. too, at Ohio State University, when a student rammed into a crowd with his car, then stabbed multiple people.
And Pierre joins us live now outside of FBI headquarters. Pierre, we now know here in the U.S. some cities have stepped up their vigilance. Any new warning here at home?
Some cities, including New York, are stepping up security at landmarks, but officials tonight say they have no intelligence pointing to a specific plot here at home. But there's always concerns about copycats, and tonight authorities are urging vigilance. Tom?
Pierre Thomas tracking this investigation from Washington. Pierre, thank you. At the same time that London attack was playing out, a major conference on fighting ISIS was taking place in Washington. 68 countries represented. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz on the fight overseas and here at home.
Today, just 30 minutes before the deadly attacks in London, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was praising the progress made against ISIS.
Hard-fought victories in Iraq and Syria have swung the momentum in our coalition's favor.
The State Department saying 62% of the terrain ISIS once controlled in Iraq has been liberated. 30% in Syria. More than 19,000 targeted strikes have removed tens of thousands of ISIS fighters from the battlefields. But the greater the success on the battlefield, it seems, the more desperate ISIS becomes, urging followers to slaughter Westerners with a knife or run over him with your car. In Britain alone, some 850 people have traveled to Syria and Iraq to support ISIS. About half of those have now returned to the United Kingdom.
And Martha joins us live now. Martha, you mentioned that terror summit, and Secretary of State Tillerson detailed the counterterrorism strategy in curbing ISIS's online influence?
He did, Tom. Tillerson said the internet is the best weapon ISIS has for radicalizing, and he said the U.S. and its allies in this fight must break the ability of ISIS to spread its message, but that is an awfully tough goal to reach, Tom.
A big breeding ground for terrorists. All right, Martha, thanks so much.